So the Dallas Mavericks on February 5th, February 6th, I believe, traded for Kyrie Irving. At the time, they were, I think, like 29 and 26. They were a few games above 500. They were treading water. Okay, they were just outside of the play-in, I believe, somewhere around there. Not great, but serviceable, largely because you had the heroic and, dare I say, otherworldly efforts of Luka Doncic keeping this team afloat. And they traded for Kyrie Irving, parted ways with Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith to give Luka some added help on offense because they fucking need it, folks. Luka needed a number two. That's undeniable. As fantastic as he is, you don't want to burn him out this early in his career, regardless of how easy he makes it look. And a guy like Kyrie Irving would, in theory, fit well alongside Luka Doncic, and not even in theory. Kyrie is a ball-dominant guard, yes, but he is capable of playing off the ball. Now, since this trade has happened, Dallas has gone 9-13. They did pick up a win last night over Indiana, I believe, but still, they're only 9-13 since the trade, and they have dropped to 37-39. As it stands, they are 11th in the Western Conference. They are currently out of the play-in. They are one game back in the loss column of Oklahoma City. It is very likely that Dallas not only misses the playoffs, but fails to even get a chance to compete in the playoffs. Now, why are they in shambles? Why are they fumbling this so hard? Why has Kyrie Irving gone and destroyed yet another franchise? And as much as I love to hate on Kyrie Irving, as much as I think he is responsible for the ultimate downfall of the Brooklyn Nets, for their, failures to win a championship and squandering their opportunities this year, I would be wrong to say that this is Kyrie Irving's fault, because it's not. Kyrie has come to Dallas, and he's played in like 12 games or something. He's averaging 27 points, like 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's looked great. He's shooting 50% from the field, 39% from 3, and 94% from the line. He's looked fantastic. Luka has also looked fantastic. But there are two things that really have plagued Dallas more than anything else. One is their defense. Their defense has been dog shit all year. Maybe not dog shit, but just mid. And not mid enough to be like, oh yeah, they could potentially make a run in the playoffs if they fix this. No, just flat out mid. They do not have defenders on that team, at least no longer. Remember, they traded Dorian Finney-Smith, who was arguably their best perimeter defender, and even he was having a down year defensively this year because, again, the team just does not have good defenders. Luka is not a good defender, regardless of how many steals he gets or how many deflections he gets one-on-one. He's not locking down anybody. He is getting cooked routinely. He's not fast enough. He's not athletic enough. He's not agile enough to compete defensively on the perimeter. He's managing a massive load on offense. He's expending so much energy keeping Dallas's offense afloat that he's not going to prioritize defense. We've seen this happen with star players many times. But just going down this roster, your interior big man is Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell is not someone who I would consider a good defender. Maxi Kleba, average defender at best. Reggie Bullock, Christian Wood, Jalen Green, just going down this list, they don't have good defenders. And that is a huge reason why this team was not going to be able to contend for a title this year. Now, since acquiring Kyrie Irving, their defense, in theory, would be worse because Kyrie is also a piss-poor defender. One of those guys who has good hands, and has good, quick hands, and decent instincts, at least when it comes to pickpocketing, but in a defensive scheme is getting cooked. Now, their defense has not become significantly worse since acquiring him. In fact, they're only 24th, they're 24th in defensive rating since the trade. and are roughly 2 points per 100 possessions worse than their season average, which puts them at 23rd. I think for the season, they're just shy of 116 points allowed per 100 possessions, which puts them at 23rd. So that hasn't really been a huge issue for them. What, especially because like they've managed all season long on the shoulders of Luka's miraculous efforts on offense. The one thing that has hurt them more than anything else is the fact that Luka and Kyrie have been in and out of the lineup. Kyrie, at the time of this recording, has missed 6 games. Luka has missed 8. Now, one of those games that Kyrie missed was him being inactive the day after the trade. So I think, count that, or make that a part of your justification if you need. But it's just the fucking logistics of the NBA, unfortunately. But still, I mean, they've missed 6 or 8 games for Luka, 6 games for Kyrie out of 24. Luka's missed a third of the games that him and Kyrie could have potentially played together. And they also no longer have the additional firepower to assist either Luka or Kai when one of them or both of them is out. Remember, they traded Spencer Dinwiddie, who having a down year, yes, but was still a guy who I think was averaging 17 during his time with Dallas. Yeah, 17 on 45% shooting from the field and 40% from 3. Also throwing in 5 assists. This was a reliable source of offense for Dallas. And I mean, we've known that since his days with Brooklyn. I mean, still with Brooklyn, he's actually been better on offense, at least in regards to playmaking, up to 8 assists. But Spencer Dinwiddie is a good option to have alongside one of your other stars to help carry the load. He's no longer there, which means that Dallas's new secondary options are Christian Wood and Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. has not had a good year at all this year. I don't know what's going on with him. He just does not have it. The dog that was once in him ran away. It got loose. I don't know if it's feral. I don't know if he's living in the woods somewhere, but he's giving you like 16 a night, 14 a night on 39% shooting overall. And the worst part is that THJ doesn't really bring anything additionally on offense when he's not scoring. So if he's not scoring, he's effectively a negative asset. Now, Christian Wood is a reliable source of offense. He's giving 17 in 26 minutes a night, but where do you fit him into the rotation when it comes to Maxi Kleba, to Dwight Powell, and also I don't know if Christian Wood is someone who is going to be able to carry Dallas's offense for prolonged stretches of time because he does not have the robust arsenal of moves that other big men have. Like he's in like no man's land where you have in today's NBA bigs like Embiid and Jokic and Giannis and Sabonis, and then those guys are effectively like the score first centers, the guys who can carry offenses. And then the other tier of centers is guys like Steven Adams, Clint Capella, guys who work primarily off the ball. Nick Claxton is in that category as well. Guys who work off the ball, but, are pretty much incapable of contributing anything on offense their own. Christian Wood is in the middle where he's not good enough to be in that elite tier, but he also has a different skill set compared to someone like Steven Adams or Clint Capella. So, yeah, they lost a lot of their additional firepower in that Kyrie Irving trade, and they have no way of offsetting it. And of course, also the lost efforts on defense from Dorian Finney-Smith. But I already mentioned like he wasn't really having that great of a year defensively anyway. But still, you did also lose someone who was shooting roughly 36% from the perimeter. So you lose an average shooter from 3, a floor spacer. And yeah, their offense has just not really been. Their offense has not been the same. I should have taken down stats. I just want to take a peek. So Dallas for the year has the 6th most efficient offense in the NBA, of course, largely because of Luka. Now, if we just go over the last 15 games, where do they rank? They've fallen to 15th. So they've gone from being an elite offense to an average offense. And again, it's because no more Spencer Dinwiddie. It's because no more Dorian Finney-Smith, and it's also more importantly the absence of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving for maybe not prolonged periods, but you miss 2 games here, you miss 2 games here, you miss 3 games there. Next thing you know, you've missed 8 games or 7 games or however many it is. So I think that Dallas is effectively cooked for this year. I was reading an article on The Ringer. I think Kevin O'Connor wrote it, and he wasn't necessarily. I don't think he was. I don't think he's pro tanking for Dallas, but he did mention that them losing like 6 more games would put them in, I think, like the top 6 for the draft lottery and give them what, like a 10% chance of drafting Victor Wembanyama. I'm not buying into that. I don't think that Dallas is going to be bad enough over the final stretch of the season to be that high up in the draft lottery. The only way they'd be that bad is if they sat Luka and Kyrie, and I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think the NBA is going to allow them to do that, nor do I think that Luka nor Kyrie are going to allow them to do that, because Luka strikes me as the kind of guy who's like, he's one of those just get us to the playoffs kind of guys. Anything can happen.